Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the city of San Francisco and the commissioning of United States ship America. I'm Captain Wayne Bays, the ship's executive officer. Our ceremony will commence in just a few moments. Please turn your cell phones off or place them in silent for the duration of the ceremony. Thank you. In 1776, the Continental Congress authorized the construction of a 74-gun ship to be named America as the first ship of the line built for the Continental Navy. In 1781, Congress ordered that ship ready for sea and picked Captain John Paul Jones as her commanding officer. However, in 1782, before the ship was decommissioned, Congress decided to present the ship to Louis XVI of France as a symbol of America's appreciation for France's sacrifices in behalf of the cause of American freedom. The first ship to bear the name USS America was initially a racing schooner in the 1850s, where she won a famous race that we now know as the America's Cup. She served during the Civil War, first as a blockade runner for the Confederacy, and then as a blockade scout for the Union in the 1860s. She finished her service as a training ship for the Naval Academy. The second ship to bear the name America was the German ocean liner America. It was seized during World War I and commissioned into active service as USS America. She served in World War I as a troop transport, first for the Navy for 2 years, and then for the Army for an additional year. For the following 11 years, she served as a U.S. mail steamship, and in 1940, she was renamed the U.S. Army Transport Edmund B. Alexander, where she served in World War II. The third ship to bear the name USS America was one of 4 supercarriers built for the Navy in the 1960s. Commissioned CV-66 in 1965, she first served in 1967 in the Eastern Mediterranean during the Arab-Israeli War. In 1968, USS America deployed to Yankee Station in the South China Sea near the coast of Vietnam, where she conducted thousands of strike missions to disrupt the flow of supplies to communist forces in South Vietnam. In 1970, America again deployed to Vietnam carrying the latest light attack aircraft, the A-7E Corsair II, into combat for the first time. During more than 100 days on Yankee Station, America completed over 2,600 combat sorties and delivered over 11,000 tons of ordnance. We're pleased to have the commanding officer of that America, who later became the Chief of Naval Operations, present with us here today. Please join me in recognizing Admiral Thomas B. Hayward, United States Navy retired. Following a Mediterranean deployment in 1971, CV-66 again deployed to Vietnam in 1972. America eventually received 5 battle stars for her service in the Vietnam War. In the 1986 Libyan conflict, America's aircraft sank a Libyan patrol craft, destroyed a Libyan missile radar site, and conducted numerous strike missions against key targets. In early 1991, America, in company with other U.S. carriers, conducted multiple strikes in Operation Desert Storm in support of the liberation of Kuwait and destruction of much of the Iraqi army. USS America CV-66 was decommissioned in 1996 after 30 years of faithful service to the country. The fourth USS America, this fantastic ship behind me, was built in Pascagoula, Mississippi, and is the most advanced amphibious assault ship in the world. She's an aviation-centric warship that will provide forward presence and power projection as an integral part of joint interagency and multinational maritime expeditionary forces. Displacing 45,000 tons, she has a crew of over 1,000 sailors and can embark over 1,500 Marines. She can operate and sustain the largest Marine Corps assault aircraft, including the MV-22 Osprey, the F-35 Bravo Joint Strike Fighter, and the CH-53 Super Stallion helicopter. The support and hospitality we have received from the City of San Francisco has been truly exceptional. We look forward to carrying the city's promise, that is America, to the far reaches of the globe. Thank you for allowing us the privilege to serve our nation as a part of the Navy Marine Corps team while proudly bearing the name America. Today's ceremony is a time-honored tradition that began with the commissioning of our Navy's first ship, a captured British schooner, the Margaretta, in 1775. Since that time, thousands of ships have undergone the transition from a silent hull to a fully alive warship. Our commissioning crew, hereafter known as plank owners, are in formation around you, and they are ready. Ship's company, attend hut. Will the guests please rise and remain standing for the arrival of our platform guest, military honors to the Secretary of the Navy, our national anthem, and the invocation. We welcome and thank the U.S. Navy Band Southwest who assist us today. Ladies and gentlemen, our platform guest, Commander John Johns, Chaplain Corps, United States Navy, our ship's chaplain. Mr. Fred Hoffmeyer, Deputy LHA Program Manager's Representative, Supervisor of Shipbuilding, Gulf Coast. Captain Chris Mercer, United States Navy, Program Manager, LHA Class Ships, Program Executive Office Ships. Rear Admiral Robert Biesel, United States Navy, retired, former Commanding Officer, USS America, CV-66. Rear Admiral Frank Pons, United States Navy, Commander, Expeditionary Strike Group 3. Rear Admiral Thomas Brown III, United States Navy, retired, Chairman, USS America Commissioning Committee. Rear Admiral David Gale, United States Navy, Program Executive Officer, Ships. Mr. Brian Cushas, Corporate Vice President, Huntington Ingalls Industries, and President, Ingalls Shipbuilding. Lieutenant General Berger, United States Marine Corps, Commanding General, 1st Marine Expeditionary Force. Vice Admiral Hilardis, Commander, Naval Sea Systems Command. The Honorable Sean Stackley, Assistant Secretary of the Navy for Research, Development, and Acquisition. Admiral Harry Harris, Commander, United States Pacific Fleet. The Honorable Edwin M. Lee, Mayor of the City and County of San Francisco. Ladies and gentlemen, our ship sponsor, Mrs. Lynn Pace, escorted today by Command Master Chief Chad Lunsford, United States Navy, Command Master Chief of America. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Ray Mavis, the Secretary of the Navy, escorted today by Captain Robert Hall, United States Navy, Prospective Commanding Officer, America. Ladies and gentlemen, honors to the Secretary of the Navy. Platform, hand salute. Platform, ready? 2. Advance the colors. Platform, and salute. Retire the colors. Platform, ready, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain Johns will offer the invocation.
Let us pray. Eternal God, we gather today to mark another milestone in the life of this great ship, its commissioning. On this day, we recognize that this ship is meant to go to sea, to sail upon the waves in order to carry out her mission to protect our nation. This magnificent ship brings together the sailors' dedication to successfully sail the unobstructed seas and the Marines' tenacity in combat, especially in the air. We bear witness that this ship is the proud inheritor of a distinguished tradition. As this ship is commissioned, we honor and remember the sailors who sailed before us under the great name USS America. May we who sail on her today exemplify and embody the same honor, courage, and commitment in devoted service to our nation. And so we gathered here in your presence, gracious God, to give thanks for the sailors and the Marines who are bringing it to life today. Grant, we pray, that this ship will always reflect the values of our great country and will always be prepared in war and in peace. In your name we pray. Amen.
Will the guests please be seated? Ship's company, parade, rest. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Edwin M. Lee, Mayor of the City and County of San Francisco.
Good morning, everyone. Secretary Mavis, Captain Hall, to the entire members on this platform, to all of you here, sitting here, some 10,000 of you, to come here to Pier 3032. It is my honor to welcome all of you to the City and County of San Francisco. San Francisco has always been and will always be a city that welcomes and salutes our uniformed women and men, not just during Fleet Week, but every day of the year. Just this past week, I had the opportunity to visit this wonderful ship, the USS America, under the guidance of Captain Hall. Let me say it's a very fine ship. Not only that, but let me make sure I say this to all of the Marines and to the Navy personnel on this ship. If you ever want a selfie with me, you've got it here in San Francisco. I want to officially thank U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein for bringing Fleet Week back since 1981 to this great city. In my opinion, Fleet Week in San Francisco is the best Fleet Week in the nation. We love celebrating our armed forces with events like the Parade of Ships, of course the Blue Angels, and we are so honored to host the U.S. Navy's commissioning of the grand ship, the USS America, the newest amphibious assault ship in the greatest Navy in the world. Fleet Week is also an opportunity to help us prepare for emergencies and natural disasters. And I'm proud that the city has built a strong partnership with our armed forces and our federal and state agencies with an emphasis on natural disaster response, recovery and resilience, and humanitarian assistance. And as we approach the 25th anniversary of the Loma Prieta earthquake that deeply affected our city, it's an important reminder to work together with all of our partners to plan and to prepare. Here in San Francisco, we say disasters look more like communities coming together rather than cities falling apart. So what matters most is building relationships, getting to know each other in advance of the next disaster, and Fleet Week has given us the perfect avenue to make that happen. Thank you to the San Francisco Fleet Week Association, our honorary co-chairs, Senator Feinstein, and former Secretary of State, George Shultz. Thank you very much. To our lovely and wonderful chair of our protocol office, Charlotte Schultz, as well. And to the many, many sponsors and government agencies that have helped us make Fleet Week possible. A special thanks to former Admiral Tom Brown, chair of the USS Commissioning Committee, for your great and fine work and all the volunteers you assembled. And a very, very special thanks to Ms. Lynn Pace for your dedication to military families and to their children and to the support and sponsorship of the USS America. And of course, with great admiration and respect, I welcome back our Secretary of the Navy, the Honorable Ray Mabus, and thank him for his service, his commitment to San Francisco, for the continued work of all the Navy, and their work with us to officially transfer Treasure Island to our city, and also to the transfer of Hunters Point Shipyard. And in celebration of Fleet Week and the USS America commissioning, I hereby proclaim this day to be USS America Day here in San Francisco. Captain Hall, please step forward to receive this proclamation. of course, since we're within eyeshot of our giant stadium, you know I'm not getting off the stage without saying, yes, 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 go Giants.
Thank you, Mayor Lee. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brian Cushas, Corporate Vice President, Huntington Ingalls Industries, and President, Ingalls Shipbuilding.
Mrs. Pace, Secretary Mavis, General Pace, Mayor Lee, Secretary Stackley, Admiral Harris, General Berger, Captain Hall, distinguished platform guests, my fellow shipbuilders, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's been many months since America left our yard in Pascagoula, Mississippi, but I'm still marveled by what I see. 25,000 tons of steel, 1,000 miles of cable that would reach from Portland, Oregon to San Diego, 800,000 feet of pipe, and tens of thousands of parts, equipment, sensors, and weapon systems. This is just some of what it took to build what you see behind me. None of this would be possible without the thousands of dedicated shipbuilders, welders, fitters, riggers, electricians, engineers, planners, cleaners, shipbuilders all, who know the ships we build carry sailors and Marines, who are our friends and our neighbors. They're our sons and our daughters, and they're American heroes. Large deck amphibious assault ships are the most complex, survivable, conventionally powered Navy warships in the world. And Ingalls has been building them for almost 50 years, providing the Navy with 88% of its amphibious fleet. So when I tell you our shipbuilders are uniquely qualified to build these ships, you need to look no further than the ship behind me. Many of these shipbuilders are with us here today. Would all of the Huntington Ingalls shipbuilders please stand to be recognized? Thank you very much. Our mission is clear. Build the best ships we can with safety, quality, cost, and schedule as our top priorities, because America and the men and women who sail in her deserve nothing less. Ingalls Shipbuilding is honored to have built America, a special ship in both design and namesake. Just like LHA-6 is the first-in-class ship for the Navy, she was also a milestone ship for Ingalls. When America was moved to our floating dry dock prior to her launch, she was the most outfitted large-deck amphib ever built at Ingalls, making her the heaviest ship ever to be rolled across land in the world. She had the highest quality of any previous large-deck amphib delivered, which was clearly demonstrated during her acceptance trials earlier this year. America is a phenomenal warship, ready to defend and protect our country and the men and women who will serve in here for the next 40 years. So Captain Hall, officers and crew of America, we wish you fair winds and following seas. You may know us as the builders of your ship, but you should also know that we're among your biggest supporters, and we deeply appreciate your sacrifice and your service to our country. I'm grateful to have this opportunity to be with you for this historic event. May God bless America, our country and this ship, and all who serve in her. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General David Berger, Commanding General, 1st Marine Expeditionary Force.
Thank you, and good morning, Representative Rogers, Representative Amodi, Mayor Lee, the Honorable Secretary Mavis, and Secretary Stackley, General, Mrs. Pace, right behind me, and Tiffany, who's here, I know, Admiral Harris, all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and most especially the captain and crew of the USS America, welcome. On behalf of General Lamus, who is our 35th Commandant of the Marine Corps, congratulations on getting to this point this morning. Together with the Chief of Naval Operations, General Amos has been personally involved with making this ship a reality. As much as he and Bonnie, his wife, would have liked to have been here with us this morning, I want you to know they're busy packing up their household belongings in Washington, D.C., because next Friday he turns over the commandancy. I'm humbled to represent General Amos here this morning. I'm pretty sure he would rather be here than packing up his stuff back in Washington, D.C. and marking boxes. In November 1779, Major Samuel Nicholas, who just happened to be our very first Commandant of the Marine Corps, he wrote a letter to Congress. He was in Philadelphia at the time, it's where he was stationed, and he asked Congress permission to lead the Marine detachment that was going to be assigned to a U.S. Navy ship. It was being built at the time. It was under construction. That ship was the America, the first America. For the past 235 years, Marines have sailed aboard U.S. Navy ships that sail from America and for America. Today's USS America, this great warship right behind us, this is the platform of the future. With her, we can respond faster to a crisis around the world with the right force at the right time. She can stay on station for longer periods of time. She can keep dozens of our very advanced aircraft up and flying. So why is all that important? Because the unmistakable presence of naval vessels loaded with Marines off the coast of a brewing crisis, that's what brings a sense of assurance to our allies and to our partners, and they believe that we are there to make sure that crisis will not worsen. All of us can leave here this morning at the end of this ceremony. We can get in our cars, drive home, knowing one thing is for sure. This ship, her crew, and the Marines aboard will keep our nation secure for decades to come. And as the USS America carries out her missions on distant seas, our responsibility, yours and mine, is to continue to honor the service of our nation's sons and daughters who wear our uniform and serve so proudly in our military, and thank them sincerely for volunteering to stand the watch. May God grant the America fair winds and following seas. Thank you, and Semper Fidelis.
Thank you, General Berger. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Sean Stackley, Assistant Secretary of the Navy for Research, Development, and Acquisition.
Mrs. Pace, Lynn, she's a beautiful ship. Very fitting, very fitting. General Pace, Secretary Schultz, Secretary Mavis, Admiral Harris, General Berger, Mayor Lee, citizens of San Francisco, today we are all Giants fans. Today, we are all shipbuilders. Today, we are the sailors and Marines made welcome by your great city. Today, we are America, and what a great day today is. It began as a bold and magnificent dream, and it was defined for all mankind, for all time, by those words left to us by Thomas Jefferson. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. And it would become, as Abraham Lincoln foretold, the last, best hope of Earth. And it would take on the mantle, and still remains, as Franklin Roosevelt urged, the great arsenal of democracy. And today it is, as Ronald Reagan would oft remind us, the shining city upon a hill, America. The history of this great land is the history of opportunity, and promise. It is the history of freedom itself. And throughout its history, throughout our history, that opportunity, that promise, that freedom, these have been preserved, these have been defended by the young men and women, sailors and Marines who sail far from our shores, who sacrifice and gladly sacrifice so that we here in America may continue to enjoy those freedoms we cherish so deeply. Who are these heroes standing in ranks before us? They come from all walks of life, from every corner of the country, from the mountainous countryside surrounding Gunny Sergeant Trevor Bates' hometown of Idaho Falls, to the quiet Long Island hamlet of Ridge, New York, where air traffic controlman Kevin Kennelly first raised his right hand and swore that most solemn oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. From Madison, Wisconsin, 1,000 miles from the sea, yet where it remains true, even 1,000 miles from the sea, that we are a maritime nation, and where aviation technician, second class Zoe Nelson, would begin her long journey, bringing her to this day, to this place, this ship and crew, to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where Aviation Ordnance First Class Christina Broadcorb would leave behind her family, her home, and too, her beloved Crimson Tide, to be a part of something big, very big. Roll Tide, roll, Christina. From the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, to the freeways of Los Angeles, Master Sergeant Jesse Ramirez and Information Technician Second Class Alan Shee held but one thing in common before they became shipmates: the desire to serve our country. So too Seaman Apprentice Yan Chen, who has made perhaps the longest journey, a journey which began in China and San Francisco's own native son, landing Signalman First Class Anthony Solis. In all, 1,204 crew members from every corner of this land. They're well-educated, well-trained, dedicated. These are your heroes. This is your America. And today, they are well-armed. You've heard told of the marvels of this great warship: tons of steel, enough cable and pipe to stretch from San Diego to Portland, 2 acres of flight deck, range and power, armor, ammunition, vehicles, and supplies designed to carry into battle the most advanced combat aircraft in the world, designed to carry into battle 1,700 Marines who will sail with this ship into harm's way, and 2, designed to provide aid, to relieve suffering, and provide hope to those in need. It is the envy of all the world, and it was designed and built right here in America by, yes, heroes. Heroes like Randy Paget, John Wilson, Harry Rucker, George Jones, and the many skilled craftsmen of Ingalls Shipyard. And Navy designers and supervisors like Fred Hoffmeyer, Hal Lamb, Commanders Cedric McNeil and John Letourneau, Lieutenant Tabitha Booth, and Michael Arnold. All under the able leadership of Captain Chris Mercer. They, too, are the envy of the world. We here today understand ours is a freedom which is not a God-given right. It comes with great burden and sacrifice. And so it is today that 85,000 sailors and Marines are deployed, providing security on every continent, every ocean, every sea, soon to be joined, soon to be made more strong by this ship and crew. The skipper, officers, and crew who proudly call yourselves the America, always keep in mind that when you sail, where you sail, America sails. And upon America rests the opportunity, the promise, the freedom, the hopes of all the world. It began as a bold and magnificent dream. Godspeed, America. God bless these United States.
Thank you, Secretary Stackley. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Harry Harris, Commander, United States Pacific Fleet.
Wow, never follow an eloquent man to the podium. Great speech, Secretary. So when I was having a cup of coffee this morning at that coffee shop right across the highway there, a very distinguished woman came up to me, very excited, and she said, "Wow, you must be Captain Hall." Well, what could I say but, "Yes, ma'am, and welcome to the USS America, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the USS America." So, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, sailors and Marines of America, good morning. And what a great Navy Day as we gather together during San Francisco Fleet Week, just 2 days before our great Navy, before your great Navy celebrates our 239th birthday to commission our nation's newest warship, a great Navy Day indeed. Now, I've always found the citizens of the Bay Area to be such gracious hosts, and I'm honored to be here with you today to help celebrate this region's history of military service and maritime tradition as we commission this great ship, the United States ship America. As I look around, I realize that there are so many distinguished guests that it would take a whole hour just to name them, so I won't. But I do want to acknowledge a few. Secretary Schultz, Secretary Mabus, Congressman Rogers and Amidei, Mayor Lee, Assistant Secretary Stackley, some of our industry partners, including Mr. Brian Cushas, our engineers, including Mr. Frederick Hoffmeyer. You know, ladies and gentlemen, America builds great ships. And if you think about it for a moment, the last captain of this ship behind me is not yet born. Now that's a return on investment indeed. And of course, Mrs. Lynn Pace, the ship's sponsor, Mrs. Tiffany Pace, the maid of honor, and I'm betting that former chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Pace, is somewhere here as well. Right, sir? Admiral Brown, Admiral Hilardes, Admiral McKay, General Berger, fellow flag and general officers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'd like to thank everyone on behalf of the Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Greenert. I'd like to thank everyone involved in today's commissioning ceremony. We can't thank you enough for all the great work that you've done. It's important work, and it matters. I want to commend Captain Bob Hall and the entire crew of this great ship for their tremendous work through acceptance trials and then sailing around the Americas to arrive here in San Francisco for this, her big day. I had the pleasure to be aboard America during her recent port visit in Chile, and I'm proud to say that you all are living up to the ship's motto, prepared in peace or in war. That's important because we live in an uncertain world where conflict and crisis can arise at any time. And as our nation conducts a strategic rebalance to the Pacific, warships like the USS America and the magnificent sailors and Marines who man her will be needed now more than ever. Ladies and gentlemen, I love a microphone, and I could go on, but I won't, because our guest speaker, a man who speaks with much more eloquence, much more clarity, and much more gravitas than I ever could, he will address this more fully. So I have the easy job today I get to introduce the guest speaker. But my challenge is to quickly convey to you the nature of the man who is the Secretary of the Navy without taking the easy way out and simply reading his bio. You can read his bio, and I encourage you to do so, but wait until he's finished speaking so you don't miss some important learning. So way back in the 8th century BC, King Gordius of Phrygia tied his ox cart to a post using a complicated knot. This was a long time before auto locks, before the club, or before even car alarms. If you didn't want it stolen, you had to tie it down. Now, I bet you're all wondering where this is going. Now, this knot was so complex that it became legend that whoever could open Gordius's knot, the Gordian knot, would become king of all Asia. No need to get out the vote, no elections, just open a knot and congratulations, and it's good to be king. So a lot of people tried and a lot of people failed until about 500 years later. In 333 BC, along comes Alexander the Great, who decided to give it a go. Now, Alex worked it hard, but he couldn't untie it either. Finally, he realized he was going about it the old way. So he drew his sword, and with one bold stroke, he cut the Gordian knot, an innovative solution to a seemingly impossible problem. So what does cutting the Gordian knot have to do with our guest speaker? Well, let me tell you about it. Back in the 1980s, Secretary Mavis had a desire to help the people of his home state of Mississippi. Roll Tide, did I hear someone say? His home state of Mississippi. He could have volunteered in a number of different ways, but he came up with a truly bold solution. And at age 39, he became the youngest governor of that state in 150 years. Unafraid to tackle the toughest challenges, he focused his efforts on growing the state economy, on improving education, and cutting through the many obstacles in his path. During the 1990s, he was appointed as the ambassador of Saudi Arabia, where he decided to help defuse a border crisis with Yemen. He dealt with terrorist attacks and international child abductions, some monumentally difficult problems that he sliced right through. And he's still cutting through barriers, bureaucracy, baloney, and BS. In these times of shrinking budgets, increasing fuel costs, and higher carbon emissions, he's leading our Navy Marine Corps team and our nation, really, in energy reform. Thanks to his vision, we're using biofuels to demonstrate our great green fleet. We have energy-saving hydrogen propulsion systems like the one that drives the USS America behind me. And we're harnessing the power of the sun and wind to generate energy for our shore installations. He's solving complex problems as our nation rebalances to the Indo-Asia Pacific, as we continue to confront challenges in the Middle East. Now, while our nation's Navy is stretched a bit thin, we meet all our obligations around the world because he's unwilling to accept the usual paradigm of doing more with less. Instead, he's found a way to do more with more. If ever there was a modern-day Gordian knot, it's our acquisitions process. But because we have the right leaders at the helm, like Secretaries Mavis and Stackley, our Navy Marine Corps team is upgrading technology, developing unmanned systems, and growing our fleet to meet our global commitments. We have 65 ships currently under contract, and we will have a Navy of over 310 ships by the end of this decade. So expect to see a lot more ship commissionings like this one. Ladies and gentlemen, it's no exaggeration that our Navy and Marine Corps team is on the right course and speed because of our guest speaker, because of our Secretary's ability to find innovative solutions to the difficult problems of our time. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming a true visionary, the 75th Secretary of the Navy, Secretary Ray Mavis.
Thank you, Harry Harris. one of the most amazingly good introductions I've ever had. I only wish two people were here, my mom and my dad. My father would have been very proud. My mother would have believed every word of it. Mr. Mayor, this great city, captain of the USS America, to our distinguished platform guests, and I want to take just a moment of personal privilege, as a couple of speakers have done, to recognize Secretary and Mrs. George Shultz, former Secretary of State, former head of protocol for the city of San Francisco, and maybe most importantly, Marine George Shultz. And I also want to recognize a couple more people. One is our former Deputy Secretary of Defense, Ashton Carter. Thank you for being here today. And my family, my wife Lynn, our daughters Annie and Kate. Today is my birthday. And I want to thank all of you for coming to celebrate with me. My only question is, what do we do next year to top this? I couldn't be more honored, more pleased to be here with the magnificent sponsor of this magnificent ship, Lynn Pace, with Congressman Rogers and Amodai, with the people of San Francisco, with the shipbuilders of the USS America and the shipbuilders of America, and with all of you. This city, this area has been great friends, longtime supporters of our Navy and Marine Corps. We have a long and storied history. And to Lynn Pace, we have so few opportunities to recognize the deep contributions our military families make. So thank you for all you have done with your husband, General Pete Pace, over a very long career. And we look forward to more decades of service as your sponsor of America. Now, Lynn Pace, I have to tell you that Lynn Mavis is here today to pick up some tips on being a sponsor of a big deck amphib, because she is a sponsor of the next big deck amphib, LHA 7, the Tripoli. And Pete Pace, I'm here to pick up some tips on how to be a supportive spouse in these ceremonies. The United States Navy and the United States Marine Corps are so closely joined with this great nation that our founders enshrined the relationship in the Constitution. Our Constitution requires Congress to provide and maintain a Navy, then as now. Our Navy and our Marine Corps uniquely provide presence around the world. They're joined by tens of thousands of our sailors in the world's oceans. They are there, far from home, far from family, standing the watch, doing everything from combat operations to special operations, partnership building to humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. And they are performing magnificently. If you ever become concerned about America, go talk to a young sailor or Marine. you will not be concerned anymore. And something that I'm reminded of, and it is reinforced in me every day I serve as secretary, is that although our technology gives us an edge, the heart of our Navy and Marine Corps, and the thing that gives us the greatest advantage, are the skilled, the dedicated, the always courageous, always faithful United States sailor, United States Marine. Today, as you look around, in this crowd, you see the veterans who have served our nation in far-flung places. From the veteran of World War II's greatest generation to our current great generation. They join us here today to honor this ship and all she stands for. You'll also see sailors and Marines in uniform today. You'll see them today, but most of the time you don't see them, because when they're doing their job, they're usually a long, long way from home. Today, USS America joins our away team. It is fitting and proper that when these sailors and Marines are home, when they're with us, when they're here, to remember them and to thank them. To thank them for giving us that presence. To thank them for the sacrifice that they and their families make every single day, and to thank them for keeping us safe every day of the year. So now it's time to commission this great new ship to carry the name of our nation and to represent our values, so the crew can take her to sea and defend this nation just as their predecessors have done for 239 years. We remain, as the Marine Corps motto says, Semper Fidelis, always faithful, and from the Navy, Semper Fortis, always courageous. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I would be honored, sir, if you would place America in commissioning.
Will the guests please rise? Ship's company, attend. Hut.
For the President of the United States, I hereby place United States ship America in commission. May God bless and guide this warship and all who shall sail in her.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Executive Officer, hoist the colors and the commissioning pennant.
Aye, aye, Captain. Ladies and gentlemen, I direct your attention to the ship's mast as we hoist the colors and the commissioning pennant. Quartermaster, hoist the colors and the commissioning pennant.
Aye, aye, sir.
Will the guests please be seated? Captain, the colors and commissioning pennant are flying over United States ship America.
Very well. I will now read my orders. From Commander, Naval Military Personnel Command, to Captain Robert Andrew Hall, Jr., United States Navy. Subject, Bupers Order number 1433 of 20 February 2014. When directed by reporting senior, detach in April 2014 from present duty and report to Pre-Commissioning Unit America as Commanding Officer. Upon commissioning of USS America, report for duty as Commanding Officer. Admiral Harris, United States ship America is in commission and I am in command. Executive Officer, set the first watch.
Aye, aye, Captain. Officer of the deck, set the watch.
Aye, aye, sir.
The officer of the deck is the commanding officer's direct representative and, while on watch, is responsible for the safe operation of the ship and her crew. The long glass is the traditional symbol of an officer of the deck's authority in a ship of the line. We're pleased to have Rear Admiral Robert Beasel, United States Navy retired, the last commanding officer of the aircraft carrier USS America CV-66. He will pass the long glass to Lieutenant Commander Brian Cable, our ship's navigator and first officer of the deck. The petty officer of the watch is Aviation Ordnanceman Second Class Courtney Powell of Kylene, Texas. The bosun's mate of the watch is Bosun's Mate First Class Nancy Romero of Los Angeles, California. And the messenger of the watch is Bosun's Mate Third Class Ronald Latimer of Flint, Michigan.
Set the watch. On deck, Section 1.
Sir, the watch is set.
Very well. Captain, the watch is set.
Very well. We're delighted to have our sponsor, Mrs. Lynn Pace, with us today. Lynn christened America in Pascagoula, Mississippi on October 20th, 2012. Lynn, I'd be honored if you join me and give the order to man our ship and bring her to life.
Before I do that, there are two things I would like to do. I would like to acknowledge the families who are here in support of all those who serve on this ship. And to represent you all, I would like to bring my daughter to stand beside me to do this, please. And I would like the men and women who serve on this ship to take my heart and my love with you as you sail. Ready? Officers and crew of the USS America, man our ship and bring her to life.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We thank the Marines of 1st Marine Expeditionary Force, Camp Pendleton, for embarking our ship's initial landing force as USS America came to life. Ladies and gentlemen, USS America salutes you. We are proud to serve in your Navy Marine Corps team. Ready? 2. Captain, the ship is manned and ready.
Very well. Admiral Pons, USS America is manned and ready and reports for duty to the fleet. Mr. Secretary, request permission to break your flag, sir. Executive Officer, break the flag of the Secretary of the Navy.
Aye, aye, Captain. Quartermaster, break the flag of the Secretary of the Navy.
Aye, aye, sir.
Captain, the flag of the Secretary of the Navy is flying over USS America.
Very well.
Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Robert Hall, United States Navy, Commanding Officer, United States Ship America.
Mrs. Lynn Pace, our wonderful sponsor, Secretary Mavis, former Secretary Schultz, Mayor Lee, Admiral Harris, Assistant Secretary Stackley, Lieutenant General Berger, Vice Admiral Hilardes, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, welcome aboard. This is, you may think that commanding a warship this large is tough, but well, I'll tell you, talking in front of a crowd this large and this distinguished, I think is a little bit more challenging, but fortunately for me, all the great speeches have already been done. Thank you very much, Admiral Harris, Mr. Secretary, and everyone on the podium for making my job a little easier, taking the pressure off. So all I have to do is really thank all those that helped me to get here today. First, of course, I want to thank God for the many blessings I've received in my life. Whatever I'm doing, I just hope I continue to keep doing it. I want to thank Mayor Lee and the city of San Francisco for welcoming us into your beautiful city, which is richly steeped in naval tradition. Thank you, sir. I want to especially thank Rear Admiral Tom Brown and the entire commissioning committee who've been working nonstop for over a year to ensure this commissioning was an event worthy of the name America and that the entire week was something the crew would remember for their lives. Thank you all so much for the time, dedication, and tireless effort you put into making this a great week. Thank you, Admiral Brown. Thank you. I need to thank the United States Navy, primarily for being a first-class organization that I've been fortunate enough to be a part of for so long. And in particular, I want to thank them for assigning me to command this incredible warship and this extraordinary crew. If you know me at all, you'd know that there's no greater honor for me than to be assigned commanding officer of the USS America. Because as Johnny Cash puts it in his Song of the Patriot, I am a flag-waving patriotic nephew of my Uncle Sam. And although it's the Navy's 239th birthday on Monday, happy birthday, Navy. It's the Secretary of the Navy's birthday today. Happy birthday, Mr. Secretary. You know, I feel like I'm the one getting the present here. This is just a great day for me. Of course. It's red, white, and blue, so that's pretty awesome. Of course, I can't thank the Navy without also thanking the United States Marine Corps for everything they do for our country and for being extraordinary partners and teammates at sea in support of our nation's interests. Semper Fi. Thank you. So, to our incredible sponsor, Mrs. Lynn Pace, I want to personally thank you for providing the crew with a role model of exceptional determination and grace. You set the example for selfless service to our great country, and your positive spirit and indomitable presence will surely stay with us and guide the ship on the right course throughout her service life. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. To the America Carrier Veterans Association, thank you all for your efforts to get another capital ship named America and for the extraordinary legacy that you and every one of the CV-66 sailors have left for me and my crew to live up to. They're very big shoes that we have to fill, but we are very much looking forward to the challenges. Thank you very much, all former USS America sailors. Navy partners, Captain Mercer, Captain Mitchell, Captain Toot, and the many outstanding men and women we've worked so closely with at Soup Ship and the program office. Your dedication, flexibility, and professionalism ensured the Navy Marine Corps received a ship ready for tasking. So thank you. Thank you. To our industry partners, on the hull of this warship should be a stamp that reads Made in America. Thanks to Brian Cushis, George Jones, Randy Paget, and all the great shipbuilders at Huntington Ingalls for the years of dedication, blood, sweat, and tears you poured into delivering a great ship and for making sure that Made in America stamp really meant something. Thank you, shipbuilders. Personally, I want to thank all my Navy and hometown friends for making a trip to be here today. I was raised in a great neighborhood in a town called Billerica, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. And many, you from Billerica? Come on. Many of my old neighbors are actually here today. I want to thank you all so much for coming, particularly my oldest friend Jack McGowan, his lovely wife Charlene, and their mother Jan. Thank you so much for being here. I've been blessed to come from a very large family. My dad, who unfortunately is no longer with us, but I know he's definitely with us in spirit. He loved the Navy, told some great stories, and really encouraged me to give everything my best effort. So thank you, Dad. To my mom, who is here today, raised 7 children, always doing whatever she could for us and never thinking about herself. She taught us the value of family, to always treat others with respect. She taught us to be compassionate, and she also taught us to be very competitive. I think she's a saint myself. Thank you, Mom, for being here. Love you. Thank you. My brothers and sisters, who are my best friends, are all incredible human beings. Laurie, Eric, Sarah, Bill, and Ellen. Thank you all, and my nieces and nephews and in-laws for being here today, and for being with me my entire life, and for always being there. To my youngest brother, Ed, who we lost to cancer, I'm thinking about you, brother, and know you're here with us today. Thank you. To my kids, although they're adults now, Andrew and Rebecca, you are the lights of my life. Just thinking about you both makes me smile even on my worst days. I'm so incredibly proud of the young men and women you've become, and I thank God every day for blessing me with you both. And I want to thank you for always being there for me, even though when I couldn't always be there for you. Don't cry, Beck. Now you gotta let me cry. To my beautiful wife, Casey, the second greatest decision I ever made is when I listened to you when you suggested I join the Navy. The greatest decision I ever made is when I decided to ask you to marry me. Throughout my career, you've been my rock. You picked me up and encouraged me to soar when I needed it, and you brought me back down to earth when I probably more often than not needed that also. You've been a wonderful and caring mother to our children, hugely supportive wife. You've been a great sounding board and advisor, and you've been my best friend since we married nearly 26 years ago. And although I'm going to miss another anniversary next week because we'll be underway, I'm definitely looking forward to the next 26 years, honey. I love you and thank you for all your support. Thank you. To the crew of USS America, as plank owners, we've been granted the awesome responsibility and great privilege to set America out to sea on the right course. You've worked extremely hard thus far to get her to this point, performing extraordinarily on our maiden voyage around South America. And I thank you for that incredible effort, but I'll tell you, it's just the beginning. As a ship of the line, America will be called upon to defend our nation's values and interests around the world, and we must be prepared. I know you feel as honored as I do to be given this amazing opportunity, and I know, as Admiral Pons puts it, you have the pride, the patriotism, the professionalism, and the passion to succeed at whatever mission we're assigned, and I'm very proud to be serving with all of you. Thank you so much. Finally, we in the military get thanked often for our service to our country, and although it's truly an honor to serve, it's great to be appreciated for what we do. Well, the crew and I want to personally thank all of you here today for what you do in service to our nation. This ship, the USS America, was named after the greatest country on earth, but it's only the greatest country because it values everyone's contributions. The doctors, the accountants, the small business owners, the salesmen, the policemen, the teachers, the computer programmers, all professions It takes every one of us doing our part, working together, and dedicating ourselves to preserving the ideals of freedom and democracy that make this country great. And that's why we thank all of you for your service and for what you do to make America strong every day. So thank you all. Thank you for being here. Now, Admiral Burke said, "For in this modern world, the instruments of warfare are not solely for waging war. Far more importantly, they are the means for controlling peace." America's motto, Bello vel pace paratus, translates to prepared in war or in peace. Carrying the latest in Marine Corps aviation and over 1,700 Marines, America will certainly have the capability to strike mightily in wartime, but as Admiral Burke said, perhaps more importantly, she'll also have the capability to be a significant deterrent in peacetime. There are great times ahead for America, our incredible country, and there are great times ahead for America, this awesome warship, and my crew and I are very much looking forward to and feel incredibly blessed to be a part of both. God bless America, our ship, and our country, and God bless all of you for being here today. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ship's company, attend. Hut. Will the guests please rise? Chaplain Johns will now lead us in the benediction.
Let us pray. Eternal God, we thank you for your presence among us during this time-honored ceremony. As we conclude, Lord, bless the USS America as she begins her service to our great nation. Make her a symbol of justice and freedom for all the world to see. May her nation look to her with pride and as a model of excellence in execution of every task. May she be a respected adversary in conflict, an effective deterrent to war, and a welcome means of compassionate assistance when needed. May the sailors and the Marines who serve on her strive to honor the legacy she represents. Thank you, Lord, for the dedication and the commitment of all who have participated in making the commissioning of the USS America a remarkable success. We celebrate this glorious day with deep gratitude. May we ever draw our strength and support from you, whose perfect love is our peace and whose peace is our power. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Johns. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated, and please remain seated until our platform guests have departed the ceremony.